Welcome to Gold Journal's Indian Premier League cricket match review. You win 6 games in a row, you feel invincible. You lose the next 6 and, well, you suddenly forget how to hold a bat.
Yeah, it's the ultimate psychological whiplash, really.
Exactly. And today, we are looking at that exact whiplash. You step into the world of franchise cricket, specifically the crucible of this do-or-die Indian Premier League match between the Punjab Kings and the Lucknow Super Giants, and, the expectation of linear, steady progression just completely goes out the window.
So, totally. We're looking at a mental landscape that is governed entirely by chaos and friction today.
Right, because it's the pinnacle of high-stakes unpredictability.
It really is. And I mean, we aren't just breaking down bat and ball today. We are examining the architecture of the human mind when a team, in this case the Punjab Kings, experiences the highest of highs with that spectacular 6-game winning streak.
Which was incredible to watch.
It was. But then it's followed immediately by the suffocating weight of a dismal 6-game losing streak. And then, pushed to the absolute brink, they have to win to survive.
The mission of our deep dive today is to extract the core lessons of pressure, legacy, and leadership from this single monumental game. We're basically going to put you right in the middle of that pressure cooker.
Which is where it gets really fascinating.
Yeah, because we want to explore how athletes respond when the entire season and perhaps, their entire career narrative is just completely on the line.
I mean, this particular match serves as a profound microcosm for universal challenges, really. We get to look at the mechanics of what happens when a leader is paralyzed by confusion.
Right.
We get to see the actual physical toll of performing while carrying the weight of a legendary family name. And of course, we get to analyze how a team actually arrests a free fall when all forward momentum has been completely erased.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the sheer unpredictability of the Punjab Kings this season demands a better explanation than just, they lost form.
Oh, absolutely. It's way deeper than that.
Right. Think about their season in terms of cognitive debt. It's like a high-performance sports car with an overheating transmission.
That's a great way to put it.
For the first 6 matches, you're on the highway, shifting gears effortlessly. Every reaction is instinctual. But then you hit a losing streak, and suddenly every single loss adds a layer of overthinking.
Yeah, the cognitive debt just piles up.
Exactly. By game 6 of a losing streak, the players aren't reacting to the ball anymore. They're reacting to the memory of the last 5 losses.
They're fighting ghosts out there.
Right. The engine is screaming, the gears are grinding, but you are paralyzed by the friction of your own self-doubt. And yet, in this do-or-die game against Lucknow, they somehow bypassed that cognitive debt and found traction.
Well, bypassing that debt requires a very deliberate type of psychological intervention. And, I mean, it is why Punjab has earned the moniker in the IPL as the Master Chasers.
The Master Chasers.
Yeah. You have to remember their historical pedigree here. This is a franchise that previously hunted down an IPL record of 264 runs.
Which is still just an insane number to think about.
It's wild. And that doesn't happen through frantic swinging. That happens through organized, methodical execution. When they were faced with chasing Lucknow's 196 runs in this match, they didn't look at the massive total.
Right. They didn't look at the scoreboard and panic.
Exactly. They tapped into a structural muscle memory. They chased it easily, with overs to spare, because they managed to shrink the game down to the current delivery.
And the anchor of that chase, the guy forcing the team to focus on the present moment, was their captain, Shreyas Iyer.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he scored a century, but it was really a pressure-absorbing masterclass, wasn't it?
It was a masterclass in insulation. He took all that accumulated anxiety from the dugout and essentially shielded the rest of his batting lineup from it.
Yeah, but you have Shreyas Iyer executing the physical mechanics in the middle, but we also have to look at the strategic scaffolding provided by the master brain behind the scenes, right? Ricky Ponting.
Ricky Ponting, exactly. When a team is on a 6-game losing streak, the dressing room becomes toxic with data.
Oh, I bet. Everyone's looking at spreadsheets.
Right. Players are obsessing over their strike rates, their biomechanics, their failures. And Ponting's genius as a coach in these moments isn't about teaching them a new cover drive.
No, they already know how to hit a cover drive.
Exactly. It is about psychological stabilization. He filters out the noise. He likely removed the complex analytics from the pregame meetings and just simplified the objective.
Watch the ball hit the ball.
Literally. Trust the process. He and Iyer engineered a run chase that looked completely devoid of the panic that had plagued them for weeks.
Okay, I have to push back on this a little bit, though.
Sure.
Is a successful 196 run chase purely a brilliant batting strategy? Or is it just raw nerve masking a team's underlying structural flaws?
What do you mean?
Well, yes, the batting looked incredibly composed, but aren't we just admiring a shiny hood ornament on a car with a cracked engine block?
I see what you're saying. And you're not wrong. The batting was absolutely forced to overcompensate.
Right.
And you see that clearly when you look at the systemic breakdown of their bowling attack. I mean, they have been leaking runs at an unsustainable rate.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Take Arshdeep Singh. He is their premier fast bowler, but he is currently on the very unforgiving list of bowlers who have conceded over 500 runs this season.
Wow. Over 500
Yes.
runs.
In recent matches, he has been giving away 50-plus runs, struggling with extras, and bowling no balls.
And a bowler of his caliber doesn't just forget how to bowl overnight, you know? What is actually breaking down in his delivery?
Well, it is a biomechanical drift caused by sheer fatigue.
Fatigue.
Yeah. Arshdeep has been carrying an immense workload from international duties, and when a fast bowler gets exhausted, their core destabilizes just a fraction of a second during the delivery stride.
Oh, wow. So just that tiny fraction throws everything off.
Exactly. That tiny destabilization means his release point drops, and suddenly that lethal Yorker becomes a very hittable full toss.
Right. And he gets punished for it.
He is losing his rhythm because his body is physically demanding a rest. He just can't afford to give it.
And it isn't isolated to Arshdeep either. You look at Marco Jansen, their dynamic all-rounder, and his form has completely evaporated as well.
Yeah, Jansen relies on height and a high release point to generate awkward bounce, but he has been ineffective with the ball and, honestly, unable to provide that late-order hitting with the bat.
Which puts so much pressure on the rest of the team.
Exactly. When your premier domestic pacer is physically depleted and spraying the ball, and your international all-rounder is misfiring, the psychology of the batting lineup shifts.
They know they have to do it all.
They walk out to the middle knowing they have zero margin for error. They know 170 runs won't be enough because the bowlers can't defend a par score.
So Punjab's chase was basically a high-wire act of desperation.
Total desperation. They held their nerve because they knew a single slip-up meant the season was over.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting, though. We've been analyzing the pressure on the Punjab batters, but I want to pivot to the Lucknow bowler, who had the most to prove while trying to stop that chase.
Right.
Let's look at Arjun Tendulkar.
Oh, this is a fascinating case study.
It really is. To understand his performance, you have to grasp the staggering context he operates within. Arjun has been in the Mumbai camp since 2021. But in 6 whole years, he has played exactly 6 IPL matches.
6 matches in 6 years.
Exactly. Frame that against the immense psychological burden of being labeled a nepotism kid. Every time he marks his run-up, he's being relentlessly compared to his father, Sachin Tendulkar.
Which is an impossible shatter to step out of.
Impossible. People aren't just watching him bowl, they are dissecting his demeanor, looking for any excuse to invalidate his presence on the field.
And the mental tax of that level of scrutiny is unfathomable. I mean, most cricketers only battle the 11 players on the opposing team.
Right.
Arjun is battling a nation's preconceived notions, and that sets the stage for his critical moment in this specific match.
Walk us through that moment.
Okay, so he gets an opportunity with his new franchise, Lucknow. First over of the match, he runs in and bowls a phenomenal delivery, perfectly inducing an outside edge from the dangerous Punjab opener, Prabhsimran Singh.
A perfect ball.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The ball flies directly to the wicketkeeper, his captain, Rishabh Pant. A regulation simple catch, and Pant drops it.
Oh, man. I can't even imagine the internal monologue for a young bowler in that exact second.
It has to be devastating.
You wait 6 years to establish your own identity, you execute perfectly under unimaginable pressure, and your captain drops a sitter. Does the muscle memory just fail after that? Does the nepotism label flash in his head?
You think so, yeah.
The urge to just drop your shoulders and fade out of the game must be overwhelming.
For a player lacking internal security, that dropped catch becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They start trying too hard, they lose their line and length, and the innings just spirals.
But that didn't happen here.
No, and this is the aha moment of Arjun's story. He didn't let the external disappointment hijack his internal mechanics. He stayed in the fight.
He really did.
Later in the innings, he finds himself facing the exact same batsman, Prabhsimran.
Poetic justice.
Exactly. And he didn't rely on his fielders this time. He delivered a devastating, toe-crushing Yorker that trapped Prabhsimran LBW.
And a Yorker isn't just a fastball, it is a statement.
Precisely. A Yorker requires supreme conviction. The margin of error is millimeters.
Because if you mess it up,
If you are anxious, if you hold onto the ball a millisecond too long because you're scared of being hit, you bowl a half volley and get smashed into the stands.
right.
So to execute a perfect Yorker after having a wicket dropped earlier, well, it proves that his mechanics are insulated from the pressure around him. It was a delivery so mathematically precise, it went viral on the internet.
The post-match fallout really illuminated how his family handled this journey too. Sachin Tendulkar shared a message emphasizing how proud he was of Arjun's resilience.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
But he made a point to explicitly state that he never forced management to play his son. He never leveraged his iconic status to demand a spot in the starting 11.
Which is an important distinction.
Very important. His core advice to Arjun was simply to, quote, always believe in your ability.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, that viral Yorker shatters the nepotism narrative.
Completely.
Privilege might grant you access to a training facility or perhaps even an initial introduction. But privilege cannot bowl a Yorker in a do-and-die IPL match.
No, it can't.
Privilege cannot force your body to hold its nerve when your captain drops your first wicket. That requires raw, earned resilience. Arjun demonstrated that while his last name casts a massive shadow, his own skill is what ultimately illuminates his place on the field.
So what does this all mean for the Lucknow Super Giants? Because we have to pivot back to the man who dropped that catch, Rishabh Pant.
Yeah.
That dropped catch felt less like a physical error and more like a symptom of a pervasive mental fog. If you contrast Shreyas Iyer's century-scoring, hyper-focused leadership for Punjab with the chaotic energy radiating from Pant, I mean, it is like watching two entirely different philosophies of leadership colliding.
It really is. It perfectly illustrates how the cost of confusion cascades through an entire organization. Leadership isn't just about making motivational speeches.
No.
It is about providing your team with role clarity. Pant's captaincy in this match was fundamentally lacking in that clarity.
It was all over the place.
Beyond the dropped catch, just look at his own batting. He scored a sluggish 26 runs off 22 balls.
Which is so uncharacteristic for him.
Completely. This is a player whose entire brand was built on unadulterated 360-degree savagery at the crease. He used to rely on instinct.
And what did he look like in this match?
In this match, he looked like a man trying to solve a complex math problem while a fast bowler hurled a ball at his head at 145 kilometers an hour.
That's a terrifying image.
The flair was gone because he was drowning in cognitive overload.
You could see the overthinking in his body language, and that overthinking infected how he managed the rest of his batting order. It was a completely chaotic reshuffling of roles.
Shuffling the top 6 batters is a massive red flag in T20 cricket. You just don't do it.
Right.
But Pant was moving himself up and down. He moved Ayush Badoni around unpredictably. He even took Aiden Markram, a player who literally opens the batting for the South African national team, and pushed him all the way down to number 6.
Which makes no sense.
None. When a batter doesn't know what over they're walking out in, they can't mentally prepare for the pace of the pitch or the state of the game. It creates a pervasive state of hypervigilance in the dugout.
Which ruins a player's reaction time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And furthermore, his lack of situational awareness extended to his bowling changes.
Oh, don't get me started on the spinners.
Right. He completely failed to utilize his spinners, Digvesh Rathi and Sarfaraz, during the middle overs when he desperately needed to choke the pace of Punjab's run scoring.
It's baffling. Lucknow's innings was essentially salvaged by a couple of rogue, heroic performances that felt entirely disconnected from the team's broader strategy.
Individual brilliance masking a systemic failure.
Precisely. Josh Inglis played a phenomenal inning, scoring 72 runs off just 44 balls with 9 fours and 2 sixes. He basically strapped the team to his back.
He really did.
And Ayush Badoni managed an explosive 43 off 18 balls. But those isolated moments of brilliance just masked some spectacular failures at the other end.
And the most glaring failure was Nicholas Pooran, who managed a meager 2 runs off 7 balls.
Ouch.
Yeah, his performance graph hasn't just dipped, it has completely flatlined. And this brings up a fascinating psychological quirk of the modern T20 mercenary.
What's that?
Well, look at Pooran compared to someone like Heinrich Klaassen this season. Both are retired from international cricket. Both operate purely as free agents on the global franchise circuit.
They're essentially doing the exact same job.
Exactly. Yet Klaassen is a prime contender for the Orange Cap, batting in the middle order with total freedom. Pooran, despite having the exact same career profile, looks completely paralyzed at the crease.
So why does that divergence happen? If they're both guns for hire, why does one thrive while the other crumbles?
It really comes down to how they internalize the pressure of their price tags. When you move from team to team, you don't have a stabilized locker room culture to fall back on when you hit a slump.
You're on an island.
Right. Klassen has seemingly decoupled his self-worth from his contract value. He plays the ball, not the occasion.
And poor Ann.
Poor Ran, right now, looks like a player who is acutely aware of how much he's being paid per run.
Oh man, that's a heavy burden.
It is. He is trying so hard to justify his presence that his muscles tighten, his swing mechanics break down, and he just can't adapt to the pace of the pitch. He isn't reacting naturally. He is batting with the weight of an invisible ledger on his shoulders.
And that mental paralysis really crystallized in the most bizarre moment of the entire match.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
We are in the final over of Lucknow's innings. Every single run is critical in a do-or-die scenario.
Every single run.
Abdul Samad is at the crease. He plays out 3 consecutive dot balls, 3 deliveries where he swings, misses, or defends, and scores absolutely nothing.
How unbelievable.
But the truly inexplicable part, he flat out refused to take a single to give the strike to his partner at the other end.
And his partner was Arjun Tendulkar.
Right.
That sequence of 3 dot balls is a tactical blunder, but more importantly, it is a glaring symptom of a fractured team culture.
How so?
Well, Samad treated Arjun like a number 11 bowler who had never held a bat in his life. But statistically, Arjun is a proven century maker in domestic cricket. He is highly capable of striking the ball.
He's not a tail-ender who needs to be protected.
Exactly. By refusing the single, Samad wasn't just wasting deliveries. He was broadcasting a complete lack of situational awareness and a fundamental distrust in his teammate. When the captain's brain fog infects the rest of the team, you get moments like this. Selfish decisions made in a vacuum, completely ignoring the assets available at the other end of the pitch.
Think about your own life for a second. Whether you are navigating intense pressure and the weight of legacy expectations in your career, like Arjun Tendulkar,
Yeah.
or you're trying to snap a miserable, friction-filled losing streak where everything feels like a grind, much like the Punjab Kings.
We've all been there.
We really have. Or perhaps you are just desperately trying to find clear direction in a chaotic, poorly led environment like the Lucknow dressing room. The deciding factor for success remains stubbornly the same.
It really does.
It comes down to cutting through the cognitive overload. It is about trusting your foundational preparation when the lights are brightest, ignoring the external narratives, and executing the fundamentals.
Which brings us to a final thought worth pondering long after this match is over.
What is that?
Consider the sheer financial and corporate scale of the enterprise we're analyzing here. 19 years ago, Priti Zinta bought the Punjab Kings franchise for roughly 30 crores.
Right.
Today, that exact same entity boasts a valuation well over 300 crores.
300 crores. That is just staggering growth.
It is massive. These mega franchises are corporate machines now. They employ armies of data analysts, biomechanics experts, sports psychologists, and high-profile strategic consultants like Ricky Ponting.
They optimize literally everything.
Everything. They optimize sleep schedules, engineer diets down to the calorie, and analyze pitch data down to the millimeter.
Right.
Yet, despite hundreds of millions of dollars in valuation and all that corporate infrastructure, the fate of these organizations still ultimately hinges on something incredibly fragile.
Which is?
It all comes down to the human psychology of a single player standing at the crease or running in to bowl. The numbers on the spreadsheet are massive, but the game is still won and lost in that chaotic, vulnerable space between a player's ears.
Thank you. See you soon with upcoming matches.